He threw that patch on, make it look like he was in a club, but he was never in a club.
They want to be able to tack like 15 felonies upon jaywalking across the street. This outlaw motorcycle member was, and it doesn't matter what they stack on you.
Because they're a friend or they know somebody and they start hanging them around and making them an official hang around. Next thing you know, they're prospecting. Before you know it, they got a patch. And I'm going, you've never been in a club.
His dad was a bandito. He borrowed $100 from the club. It might have been 1,000. I don't know. But his own son was 86.
I think it was from that point on, I was like, one day, I'm going to be one of those guys.
And he said, if you don't get on a stand, you're going to lose. You're going to jail. I said, I can't take the stand.
Welcome to this episode of Chattin with Staxx. I'm your host, Bill Staxx, and today I got Keri Vandiver.
Honesty, and I said yes. But my nephew Tyler told me that, listen, they think that her son did this. And I said, what the fuck are you talking about? So I said, to my friend, I said, well, they think that your son did it. And so me and her stayed on the phone till like 1 o'clock in the morning trying to figure out what happened. So there was a rumor going around that it was a bunch of black guys from out of town, New York, Connecticut, wherever, coming and taking over houses. And it was a bad drug deal. Mind you, my uncle and aunt are very sick. They couldn't do hardcore drugs anymore. So they had been clean for 5 years. Yeah. So this was a shock to me. And I'm like, drug deal gone bad. What the fuck? I'm like, no, my aunt ain't going down. Like, even though she's been in Vermont for 20 years, she's New York, and she ain't going to let nobody come in her house and demand to take over nothing. You know what I'm saying? She'd have called my uncle, if anything. So come to find out, it was my best friend's son. He stabbed my aunt to death, and he brutally beat my uncle.
What?
Yeah, and there's some gruesome details, but nothing I want you to get flagged for. So I'll keep those details out. But very, very gruesome, very horrible. And there was unfortunately a neighbor, a young lady with a 9-month-old baby, witnessed the whole entire thing. And she called the police right away, trying to scream at my friend's son to stop. It was very, very gruesome, very brutal. My uncle lived through it all till the very end, so of course he went out painfully, which is
was he on drugs? The guy on drugs? Like what?
So like my brother, my friend's son unfortunately suffers from paranoid schizophrenia, and he would say things right after the incident that, how are they still alive? They're not human. So I do think that, well, I don't want to say anything because there's supposed to be a trial, so I don't want to say anything crazy. But the guy the kid, I've known him since he's a toddler, and so unfortunately I lost my friendship because of that. Was kind of like the topping on the cake. There was a layered cake going on there between me and her. Unfortunately, I thought that was going to be like my golden girl, and I miss her very, very much. It's heartbreaking. So I lost a lot of people.
Do you think it'll ever be salvageable, your relationship with her?
I'd like to say yes, because I was actually ready to support her, even after I found that out, because it's not like she did it, and as a mother, I'm sure that she was quite disturbed and embarrassed and upset and scared for her son. And so I would only expect for her to choose her son. And that's the kind of mother that she is. She's always going to put her kids first, wrong, right, or indifferent. Right. So I said to myself, I'm going to support her too, because she needs me too. Unfortunately, not long after that decision was made, she had said a couple things that offended me. And so at that point, I realized that our friendship would never be the same, because no matter what we say to each other, sometimes we're going to say things that are going to offend each other. Yeah. I was very close to my aunt. That was like my second mother, and to know that they went out tragically like that, is just another.
Did you know your friend through your aunt?
You can say that because I initially moved to Vermont when I was 18.
Yeah, I remember you telling me.
Yeah, to live with my aunt. And that's when I met my best friend, was in that neighborhood. Yep. Mm-hmm.
So the son lived in the same neighborhood. Was he like the neighbor?
So my friend moved to a different state, right, with her kids, and she's been there for quite some time now. Not too far, but another state. And she had wind up putting him in a facility for people that have mental health issues, and he was doing great, as far as I know. But at the very end, he committed a violent act against a staff member, and they packed up his shit and they moved him to Vermont, right in the same town as my aunt and uncle. And by himself, you know. And as far as I know, they tried to set up some things for him, and I don't know how that went. But apparently it didn't go very well because he decided to do something like this, and he had the ability to do it. So there wasn't many precautions put in place for this kid. He was kind of left in the dust by the system, not so much his mother, but by the system. My feelings change. They fluctuate with my friend. You know, it's like the devil and the angel on my shoulder, you know.
Yeah.
So right now, no. In the future, maybe, you know, maybe.
So does he get arrested right away?
Oh, yes, absolutely. Because the post office is literally maybe like 10 feet from my aunt's apartment. And so he walked to the post office and came back and waited for the police. So when they got there, he had a weapon in his hand and he got stuff all over him. And
yeah.
So
yeah. Now is he going to trial or is he going to plead out?
Well, I don't know the details right now, but back when it happened, he had to be mentally evaluated and medicated, for them to find him fit to stand trial.
Yeah.
Now, my family, if this makes any sense, if anybody, if you know, right? My family has no family. So, it would be hard for my nephew to take over, you know, legal fees and coming to court, you know, missing work. As harsh as that may sound, the kid is on his own and he has to pay his own bills. And if he misses too much work, he's going to lose his job, you know. And so this is a lot for him to handle. Now, I'm not saying that he won't, because he might, but as far as I'm concerned, I wouldn't be upset if he didn't. Because in all reality, the kid is sick mentally and he needs help. He needs to be put away, you know. And if they can't see that, well, he's just going to do it to someone else. It won't be my people again, but it's going to be someone else. So that's going to be blood on their hands, you know. So if my nephew feels like he can't deal with it, you know, my sister definitely can't deal with it. That's for fucking sure. I love her and everything, but she's just not capable of dealing with all that right now. And so I don't really know where it's going. He might plead out if he has like his mom, you know, his lawyers, siblings, you know, aunts, uncles. I don't really know what's going on with that right now.
That's a wild situation.
Very, very wild.
Like insane. Can't even imagine.
Yeah. Yeah, it's heart-wrenching. I physically got sick over it for weeks.
How long has that been?
I want to say this happened in April.
This year?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. It should be on the news. Like, you could probably Google like Orleans, Vermont news, like
Orleans.
Orleans, yeah, like New Orleans, but it's without the new. It's just Orleans, Vermont. I could probably wind up inboxing you a link, Bill, if you want.
All right. Yeah, I'll put some picture of the news article on there or something.
Okay.
That's really sad for your nephew, right?
Yeah, both of them.
That's a really crazy situation. I'm sorry you have to deal with that.
Thanks, I appreciate it. It was very hard, you know, but as a mom, you know, you just got to push through. I mean, I just lost my little brother to an overdose not too long before that, you know, so it's like I'm kind of used to loss by now, man. But I started therapy, so we're all good.
So what's in store for the future for you?
Well, actually,
You
like
started
I said,
your podcast, right?
I started
Semi,
it. Yeah.
yeah, semi, right?
Semi, yeah. No, well, I guess trial and error. I kind of I made a lot of financial investment into that, so I still have my equipment and all that stuff. I think mental health wise, I had to put that on pause because I know from like starting my own small business and actually what it takes to have it like ongoing and successful. It takes a lot of dedication, focus, clear. You have to have a lot of a clear mind, and right now I'm just not able to give it 100%. And so I don't want to do half-ass shit. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
I did start therapy actually just recently. And so I may have to go the medication route. I'm pushing 40 years old now and I've always been against medication. But at this point, it's probably best to get some kind of stability going. So once that happens, man, Bill, I mean, the goals are endless on my sheet of paper. I love Tony Robbins. Shout out to Tony Robbins. He's one of my heroes. He really saved my life. He changed my life. I started forcing myself to listen to his podcast, and it was amazing. It really like switched something in my brain. So I would love to be a motivational speaker. I have a lot to offer when it comes to that platform. I've been through a lot of things and I think I can relate with a lot of people. So
Yeah, you've overcome a lot in your life.
right. And so a motivational speaker typically is someone who has overcome and so can help someone through that journey. So I would love to eventually do something like that. I would also love to write a book on my parents, both my father and my mother, because my mother was just predominant as my dad in my life anyways, a lot of lives. So I'd love to write, maybe even a couple of books, one about their love story, one about each of them individually in their lives. That would be a very interesting book. I know a lot of people would love that. And a book about, my experiences with my kids being legally kidnapped and that whole situation and domestic violence. I mean, there's so many different things that I could write about that I think would help a lot of other people, because a lot of the times books help me. Books and music really got me through a lot of things, and albums, So, a lot of goals. Another goal of mine would be to I just keep envisioning these 2 houses. I even got the names for the houses. I want to do nonprofit houses for runaway and trafficked kids that are not connected to the government or the state, where they have to go through an intake and a process. I as a runaway myself, I always wanted to just go somewhere safe where I didn't have to answer any questions or fill out any papers or get yelled at. So I just want to create a safe place for those young people, and just be a safe haven for them, just even temporarily, a shower, a hot meal, some advice, some resources, job help, stuff like that.
Yeah, it can help a lot.
Oh, I think so. Yeah.
Have you dealt with any of the migrant situation in your neighborhood?
The what situation?
The migrants, the illegals.
And so here's the thing with that, Bill. So I keep seeing videos about even people in New York, like, oh, they're on the FDR and they're on the side of the road. I even see videos of them on the side of the road. But here, we've always seen them on the side of the road.
Yeah.
Like, I don't understand what's changed. Like, they're on the side of the road. They jump in the trucks and they go make their money, mind their business, have their cervezas, and they just, mind. We don't have a problem here. We don't have an issue with any Venezuelans, Colombians, Mexicanos, Dominicanos, none of that. We love everyone and we hate everyone equally here. So there's nothing going on.
I've seen videos where Venezuelans are fighting the Mexicans that are at Home Depot waiting for jobs.
Well, I can't be surprised. They fight over jobs all the time.
They're taking our jobs. Well, now you know what it feels like, right?
I mean, in all reality, yeah. So, I mean, so I don't see any of that going on here, though. No.
They start grabbing ducks out of the park, then you got a problem, right?
Oh, I've seen a video where this guy had a duck and this lady was like, wait, what are you doing with the duck? It's a baby.
Yeah, she grabbed it back, right?
She did. I was like, yeah, stand on business. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
I love that for the ducks.
I seen that duck too, the video. It was funny.
It was hilarious, yeah. Like,
But
what was he gonna do with the duck, though? Like, what?
Probably eat it.
I mean, if you're in America, there's plenty of food here. Like, you know,
you don't need to do that.
You don't.
Go to the next dumpster. You can find plenty of donuts or whatever.
When Wendy's has a 4 for $4, man, you know, like ducks ain't it, man. Let them go.
Well, I got a lot of messages to have you on again, and people are going to enjoy this one. I really appreciate you taking the time.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I always love coming on the Bill Staxx show and chatting with Staxx.
You already know.
Yeah,
Is
buddy.
there anyone else you want to give a shout out to before we go?
I want to shout out Bag Talk, really doing their thing out there in Long Island. Well, out here in Long Island, you know, music-wise. Shout out Money Making Quinn, Chuck Dollars, and the whole Bag Talk crew. You know, shout out to all my loved ones who support me. Go follow me on Facebook. My Facebook is going crazy. I'm monetizing. You know, as long as, and that's another thing too. You guys have nothing to do. You're sitting on your asses. Go to Facebook, man. They're giving out opportunities like it's nothing. I made $9 in 2 minutes. You just got to be consistent. Sometimes it gets overstimulating, but that's when you put your phone down, you put on a show, eat some food, relax, you know, and then you get back to it. Yeah. So follow me on Facebook. Yep. Definitely go follow me on Facebook.
Definitely. Thank you so much. I appreciate you.
For sure. Thanks a lot, Bill.
If you like this show, hit the like button, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you can get my videos every time they drop. And if you don't like the show, too bad, start your own podcast. Thank you.